school is already pretty ableist in of itself, but then combined with having to do things digitally, there's a lot more difficulty.
You cannot be comfortable, you have to be able to seek discomfort.
Never in the history of human civilization have we developed a vaccine.
Hello, what's poppin'? My name is Erica and welcome to my very first YouTube series, the very first episode of Bouncing Board. Yay! Yay! Okay, so basically what Bouncing Board is about is we aim to be a platform which is a gateway to make meaningful connections for young adults in these troubling times of the pandemic. So each week we'll be bringing in different people from different backgrounds to come and share their thoughts, opinions and views. So today I have the privilege of having my 4 very fabulous friends here to, help me kickstart my YouTube series, okay? So I'm going to give them an introduction. We have Sharon. Say hi, Sharon. Sharon is a sea slug lover and insect fanatic. She also opened her own youth NGO this year called M Solidarity on Instagram. Next we have Helena, and I think my first impression of Helena was that she's a pole vaulter. Do you all know what pole vaulter is?
No, I have no idea what it is.
Helena, you want to tell everybody what being a pole vaulter is?
Take a guess what it is first.
It sounds like some sports thing, I don't know.
Long shot, it's just, that stick you hold, you run, then you jump.
Oh,
Yeah, that thing.
That's Helena. And then we have Zachary. This is the most outgoing guy I've ever met to date. He's excellent with kids and he's an even greater dog walker, if I do say so myself. And then last but not least, we have my tech dude for Bouncing Board, Subang. He is a public speaker.
Tech support guy.
Yeah, he's the tech support guy. He's a public speaker and also a die-hard fan of classical music. Yes. Now that we've introduced everybody, do you guys sort of know what we're going to be talking about today? Yay!
So MCO, when they gave that whole lockdown and you couldn't go anywhere, I feel like all I was doing was basically on my computer playing games or like talking to friends. And then the other thing that I did, because everyone was starting to do TikTok, right? And my sister was like always making TikTok and I had nothing to do and I couldn't run away from her pestering me to do TikTok. It was something that I never really saw myself doing, which was kind of weird. But I mean, it was something that I never really saw myself doing, which was kind of weird. But I mean, I wasn't allowed to run away from it, so it was kind of fun now. But yeah.
Well, as you might guess, I'm not a very outgoing person. You see my hair is kind of like, hair. Yeah. So it's a bit of a balance between finding entertainment to keep yourself entertained, and the other part is finding something that's meaningful to do, so that they kind of balance each other out and you don't feel too guilty about the entertainment part. So my entertainment was game, and then for like the make life meaningful part, not the waste time part. Like the meaningful part, right? Basically I tried to find like opportunities for me to have a platform to kind of expand my skills or circles. I am now officially a trumpet teacher as well as a piano teacher. I teach lessons online. And I found my students throughout MCO because everyone just kind of at home and like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do some education. Yeah, so sounds very glorified, but it's just me spending 1 hour of my time per week sitting in front of a camera trying to teach a 9-year-old kid how to play the trumpet.
Everyone struggled during MCO, but we all struggled in our own ways. One of the biggest struggles that young people face during MCO is that not all of us have a good connectivity, and it really affected a lot of people's education. So what do you think is the struggles as a young adult that you think we faced that adults would not be aware of?
In a way, I think it's like mental challenge during this time because no way did they ever have to face like online things, I'm pretty sure it'll be worse for them, right? Because they won't have online back in the day. But the thing is that they never had it, but it's really frustrating. You can't get Wi-Fi to connect, or when everything is just laggy and you can't do anything about it. Yeah, maybe that.
The thing is, I didn't know I was an introvert until MCO properly cemented that. So I have to say, personally, I'm very grateful that I had a very, very good experience in MCO. Not just because I also got into a relationship during the MCO.
Yay!
Wow.
Yay!
That is the ultimate goal. Joke, sorry.
No. To answer Erica's question, I think probably the biggest thing would be that there's not a lot of empathy the school administrations towards the students, especially considering that school is already pretty ableist in of itself, but then combined with having to do things digitally, there's a lot more difficulties when it comes to people with disability or just anyone who's kind of short-handed in terms of internet connectivity or mental health issues. Because I'm the student representative for my batch, and there's very little leeway that lecturers will give in terms of assignments, just for my school. Anyway, I see that there's not a lot of measures made to make up for the gap or for the digital divide or just any sort of leeway to make up for the fact that this is unprecedented circumstances. So I would say students really get a huge challenge, especially from the fact that our grades are still going to be considered to the same legitimacy as grades that were not achieved during the pandemic. So yeah, I would say that's pretty shit for us lah.
For me, I'm a 100% extrovert. I'm a people's person. When the whole lockdown thing happened, it was not good for me because I just couldn't really interact with people, which was kind of lame. But then, like, when it comes to the study-wise, to be honest, I low-key prefer studying at home and doing my own stuff. Because for my school, like, everything is like self-learning and self-paced. So it's like we do our work by ourselves. And like, I honestly I tried a lot and I did really good for my this year of my school. I did really well. And like I feel like I did better like online because there was a period of time when we all went back, and like when we went back, I did better at home now. Let's just say that, and it wasn't so good at school because I was getting distracted with all the people around me. But then when I was at home, because it's just me and I cannot really escape it, I have to do the work. So I did it. I did everything and I tried. So for me, based on this like the schooling thing, it was good for me. It was just more like the whole like online joining early in the morning and like sometimes you have to wait so long because sometimes your teacher or your lecturer on the other hand like is having Wi-Fi problems and you're not allowed to leave. You just have to sit there and just wait for them to like connect and like in school you can just like if you're having a bad day you just go with it. You can't really do much. You just leave it. But like at home I feel like it was a bit harder because like if I was annoyed I couldn't really do anything about it, and I wasn't because it's like online, right? And there's no way of escaping. I have to sit there and I have to just like deal with whatever problems that I had to face. So like it was a 50-50 thing. Like, I like the school part of it, but anything else I didn't really like it.
I think like RMCO was like the second best time of the year, aside from like before MCO we had 3 months of normal, then we had MCO, then we had RMCO. RMCO was like a little bit better, but I expected to go back to school and do all that fun stuff we did in our classrooms and yeah, right. But it never happened.
Yeah, I think online classes should be the number one thing that the younger generations are trying to adapt to, I would say, because of how everything just kind of clicked and then everything just shifted online all of a sudden. And then it's not just that, the school's saying, please forgive us, we're trying to adapt as well, we're trying to change our framework. But sometimes we just kind of feel, even though that the framework kind of adapted to, I still have that feeling that some students or some teenagers perhaps, they're still finding difficulty in terms of like adapting to the entire new online classes framework, like joining, not just joining meetings or stuff, but also doing everything by yourself. That's the number one thing that I think that every student or uni student at least is like trying to adapt to, because you don't have anyone to lean on. Like the human society is like an interdependent and an interconnected society in such a way that we just kind of lean on each other and then it creates a nice balance. But then you don't have people to lean on when all of a sudden everything is kind of online. I mean, sure, you can ask questions through WhatsApp or whatever, but the feeling just isn't there. Like you're trying to move from one way of life into another with zero adaptation time. Like the time frame is very short, and then you're just like forced to adapt. So for some people, especially like introverts, it is, well, to put simply, daunting to be able to face this entire new thing. It's like, oh, you look into a class's WhatsApp group, like, oh no, I have a question regarding physics. Who should I text? I don't even know who the hell all these people are. Alright, let's try it out loud. Let's try this number. And then you're like, hey, I'm from your class. You know, not a lot of people can have the courage or like that's why I say it's daunting for introverts. I'm a 100% introvert.
I also feel that there were a lot of changes in terms of like how we had to adapt to our new lives. You know, we have to wash our hands so much more and sanitize them, right? I feel that my hands had more alcohol, like had more chances of trying alcohol than my mouth did this year.
That's funny.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's crazy, you know.
For me, I think I proceed with 2021 because, to be honest, this year has been a year full of ups and downs. And 2020 has taught me anything is that anything can change in just like a second. Because the first 3 months, it was all like, yay, this is gonna be the year, it's amazing. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, COVID, lockdown, you can't go out, you can't do anything that you wanted to do throughout the year. But it taught me to be okay with change. And like last time, I hate changes. I didn't like adapting to new stuff because it was like I was always comfortable, you know. But like this year taught me that you cannot be comfortable. You have to be able to seek discomfort in a sense, and to be able to adapt to like, you know, changes. And I wouldn't change 2020 because it taught me a lot of stuff. So I just go to the new year and see what that year has in store for me.
Yeah, of course. I would 100% reset it because the pandemic has affected so many livelihoods. I don't think I'd be able to not reset it in good conscience because like it ruined life of so many people. I think I would have to reset it. I think I am very, very lucky because both my parents got to quit their jobs, and so I really had nothing to worry about. But then my organization and I tried to connect to grassroots community, and then combined with things like the water crisis, you know, and even the government not really taking the whole thing seriously. Incidents where, you know, they're arresting they really started targeting the refugee communities or the migrant communities. Like just with the whole shit show that is 2020, a lot of marginalized groups got affected. So I think I would have to reset it. Without the pandemic, I think a lot of people's lives would have been saved.
Well, for me, I would not change 2020 just because of the sheer amount of change it brought to the world. Never in the history of human civilization have we developed a vaccine in less than a year. Without COVID, healthcare would not have garnered this much support in this many years. Like, put it, it's like it can be titled like the bright side of COVID. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, it outweighs all the, not all, but just ever so slightly, in my, you know, opinion, it outweighs the worst it brought to the world. So I will reset it. Yeah.
So there is a bright side to the COVID, to the pandemic, is what you're saying. But then who are the recipients of that prosperity that comes after the dip? You know, like for example, if you're talking about R&D and this development of the vaccine, the recipients of that vaccine are still going to be the core countries. Peripheral countries are going to stay in the periphery, and overall human development will only be experienced by those who are in a position to experience
This, I can agree with you on that. Henceforth, my entire opinion, let's not talk about the capitalism bullshit we have here, you know what I'm saying? Like, the rich is going to get richer and the poor is going to get richer. But it's kind of like, I agree with you on that. Like, all in all, the poor is just going to get poorer and the rich is just going to get richer, just how the world is structured. But I still believe that for the greater good of the entire human race, far-fetched. It's like, yeah, so I agree. Actually, I do agree with you on that.
For me, I always try my best to see the good in everything because let's be honest, the world and like life in general is really not that great, and there's a lot of downside to it. There's a lot of doesn't like won't happen or does not need to happen, and it's a part of life. So I always try to see the good in everything. So it's with this whole pandemic and this whole COVID-19, I honestly, me as a person, I changed so much. Like before this, I was a very just like, oh, I'm just gonna play sports. I'm gonna be me, be happy. But then I had to like not play sports for like the longest period of time, and sports was my only escape. Like when I was this time, like last time I didn't like talking about how I felt about anything. I just played sports, kept quiet. But then the pandemic put me in a position to where like I couldn't go to sports because I cannot play basketball or anything in my house. So I had to speak about how I felt about situations, and I'm not happy that the pandemic happened. Like it's a shit thing, but because there's no way of changing it, so I'm happy that I managed to learn from it. I'm happy that I managed to become a better person from it. Like I feel like I'm happy that COVID happened because I'm able to be somebody that I definitely wouldn't have been if it wasn't for COVID.
I became more of an introvert because I couldn't talk to people, and it was, we went to a new school and all that, and you've only known people for like 2 months. You don't know how like close you could get to them. I'm fortunate that I got to get close to you and my other friend as well more, even though like we were online. It's probably because we have common interest of our shitty lecturer. But other than that, like we just connected and prevailed. But other than that, even if like we drifted from the rest of the other people, I feel like when you're isolated at home, you also learn to be more independent. You do stuff yourself. You can't rely on other people because you don't know any other person that you can rely on. And I only know like maybe 3 people that I actually talked to in college. So it's like I can't rely on that 3 people to get me through this 2 years of my life.
You may say that you lost connection with other people, but I feel like COVID also brought people together, especially the people that you are supposed to be close with, in a sense like your blood family, and and maybe some of your friends who maybe I don't know, maybe it's just family lah. I feel like that I also you sort of know who you want to talk to and who you want to keep your connections with, and who's actually willing to keep these connections with you. And I think the most important thing is like, in some way, I think it did bring people together, quite twistedly in that sense, keeping them locked in a house.
I'll be like, thanks 2020 for passing by really quickly. Like that whole phase is over now, but I don't want it to carry on to 2021, with like another MC or something like that. I don't want to miss any more of college and interaction with friends and things like that. So like, by 2020, just don't 2020 2.0.
To be honest, I look forward to the new opportunities that were lost this year.
Thank you for letting me be able to have this new side of me that's like open to like changes and open to all these like emotion things. But then again, like I'm happy to be starting a new year, and I'm happy to be going on to 2021. But I really, really hope that 2021 is nothing like 2020, and it's like so it'll be better. Let's just have that hope that it'll be good and it'll be different. I get to go play my sports again. I get to go meet my friends more often, and like the usual back to the normal year again.
I would say year 2020 would be something that I would say out of my own personal experience. So year 2020, I would thank this year for letting me fall in love, and for teaching me how to fall in love, and for giving me the opportunities to, I guess, build something that's very, very ground up, and something that I've been dreaming about for a very long time, which is Mrs. Solidarity. And that in of itself gave way to so many things that I've been striving for so long but had no idea how to do. And it gave me an outlet to meet new people, that kind of in lieu of meeting people in campus. So I gained best friends through Mrs. Solidarity, people that I would never have met if not for the space that 2020 gave me to build this organization up. And it has also pushed me to be very, very self-introspective and come to terms with a lot of things that I had not previously known about myself. So going into 2021, I hope to continue accepting the things that I cannot change and changing the things that I cannot accept, and for more beautiful things to persist and to come into my life, and also for just to brace myself for the shitty things that will be happening around me, and to just hang in there.
Yes, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, please give a round. We finished the first episode. Some parting words for the first episode. I just want to wish everybody here a happy new year, and I hope that 2021 will be a great year for not only the speakers here, but for the audience that will be watching this video when it comes out. I hope Bouncing Board was a good platform for y'all to get to know views and thoughts about other people, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I'm gonna bounce out. Bye bye.